What's up, Internet? This is Rambling Josh, and today I've got a little bit of a special video for you. So recently, I completed a Let's Play of Super Metroid, and while I was doing that series, I talked a little bit about some of the special tricks that you can do and just kind of speedrunning the game in general. So since I completed recording that series, probably about 2 weeks ago at this point, I've continued to practice Super Metroid, and I'm at the point now where I can actually complete runs of the game. My times are still pretty terrible, but in comparison, well, I don't know what I'm comparing them to, but the fact is that I'm just pretty happy that I'm able to have a time that I can consistently improve now. So what I'm going to be doing here today is I'm going to showcase my best run so far, which, like I said, is still pretty bad. I'm gonna commentate over it a little bit, just to give people an idea of what a speedrun of this game looks like. And because I'm still so bad at the game, I've also got in the top right corner of the screen here, there's going to be a video of the world record run of this category by Zost. So the idea here is I've taken his video and I've split it up to compare it to my own run kind of room by room. Just so you can kind of see what this game looks like at the absolute top level, because it's actually very impressive. Anyways, let's get this started. The first thing to note is that when you're doing a speedrun of this game, you need a save file from Series Station. So to do that, you just watch the intro. Once you get to Series Station, reset the game, and you have your Series Station file. And you just copy that to a new slot anytime you want to start a run, and you're good to go. We have a fall down Series Station. I'm pretty glad I got that spin jump because it looks cool even if it's not that hard. Probably the most impressive thing to look at for this game, if you're comparing my run versus Zost's, is just general movement, because it's actually really amazing how much time you can save just by optimizing your movement and making everything smooth and stuff like that. Even stuff like considering how your momentum and your movement translates from room to room is pretty awesome. So if you're looking at my screen versus Zost's, you'll probably see a lot of, even in very simple rooms, pretty much every single room in the game, I end up being slower than Zost just because of small little bits of movement. But anyways, we have a pretty simple Ridley fight here. It's not really a fight, you just take, 75 damage and you're good to go. We have the escape timer. So, escaping from Series Station, a really good time has something like 45 seconds left on the timer. I'm lucky if I have about 40, because I'm obviously not very good at this game yet. A lot of it for me comes down to steam luck. Every time you get hit by a little vent of steam equates to losing anywhere from like 1 to 2 seconds, depending on where it is. Getting hit by the steam in this room is especially bad. If you're going really fast, then you can kind of outpace the steam, so the steam cycles is a little bit more consistent. But I am not quite that fast yet. I got, I think, a 38, which is pretty abysmal. It's even slower. You can see on my timer it's a little over a second slower than my previous best run, so not a great start to the run, but ultimately your time in Series Station is not especially important, especially when your times are as bad as mine. So anyways, we have Zebes, Zebes, however you pronounce it proper here. One of the interesting things to look at for this run is I do a lot of things in it to make it easier for myself, I guess you could say. In particular, stuff like I get extra items just so I can actually make sure that I actually make it to the end of the game. One of the optimizations to this game is just knowing how many items you need to be able to beat the game. And oh man, that was some pretty ugly movement there. But anyways, at the top level of play, I think the optimal route takes 3 energy tanks, 20 missiles, 10 super missiles, and 5 power bombs. So I get a little bit more than that. I get less than I used to, but I'll point out whenever the routes diverge. So, not the best run so far. Wow, I even failed at the elevator. I had a bad, it's called the climb, that tall room, but I fell down the climb badly, so even that's not the greatest. I screw up the spin jump up there. It's actually, I found it to be really enlightening watching and comparing the two videos here, just to see how many places I'm losing little bits of time. Even stuff like how long I take to get off the elevator, or losing time by watching a longer item fanfare than I need to. It's really interesting seeing how much time I actually lose in sometimes. I mean, this item fanfare with the missiles, like you can see that mine and Zos end at almost the exact same time, but the thing about the item fanfare is it doesn't go away until you hit A, and sometimes I forget to do that. I did not need to shoot 3 times there. I should just morph balled up there. But this is the first route divergence here. I come over here to get extra missiles. That jump was supposed to be a mock ball, but I failed to do that. Ironically, despite the fact that this room is not intended in the optimal route, it's usually one of my smoother rooms. I mean, it's pretty simple, but why'd I go under there? I almost always go over and shoot the door from the right side, but I guess it doesn't make much difference. So I get those missiles primarily because, like, I could do without 5 extra missiles, but I find it really helpful to have 5 missiles at the very start here, 5 extra ones. And I'll point out why when it becomes apparent. Here we have the reverse pit, which I purposely take a little bit slowly. I just jump slowly from platform to platform and just shoot every time I land. I find that to be safe and consistent, so it's good enough for me now. Now you'll notice that I take a very different strategy for this room. Typically the ideal way to get up the climb is to do a long series of wall jumps, which is super fast. But I decided for this particular run that I wanted to see how slowly it actually was to get up here by jumping the intended way from platform to platform. I was kind of curious how it compares to my own climb, because my climb is pretty sloppy and slow, so I want to see how taking this slow strategy compares to taking the fast strategy but messing it up a whole bunch. And I think it ends up working out pretty well for me. I think I probably save a whole bunch of time here. I always find getting up this room is pretty interesting because you can make it look pretty impressive, and it's a really good example of how optimizing your routes through each room can save you a lot of time. Unfortunately, I'm not really at the point yet where I'm too worried about specific room strategies, but it is what it is. So this is the first place. Actually, I got hit there, so I want to refill my health so it's full. But this is the first place where having 5 extra missiles really comes in handy, because it means that coming into this boss fight, I already have 5 missiles. You need to use 5 to open that red door. So the Bomb Torso fight, typically, if you're doing it properly, you have to hit him with 7 or 8 missiles or so. And getting those missiles requires that you manipulate his patterns such that he drops little puffs of smoke or whatever that you can shoot to farm for missiles. But if you have 5 missiles going in, you don't have to farm quite as many. Unfortunately, he has this pattern where he will start shooting these little wave beam things at you, and that always really messes me up a lot. And it's really unfortunate, and I'm not really sure why he does it. But it's another reason why having 5 extra missiles comes in handy, because it means if he doesn't shoot the things out that you can farm, then you have 5 missiles already, so you're not completely screwed. And here's another thing. This is called the Alcatraz escape. I don't do it. You might have just seen Zos do it. But basically, you wall jump up the left side instead of the right, and it's a lot faster if you do it right. I'm at the point now where I can pretty consistently get it within like 2 or 3 tries. But again, kind of like the climb, I decided in this run to not go for it at all, just to go for see how fast going for the slow but consistent strategy compares to going for the fast but I'm probably going to mess it up a few times strategy. Speaking of the climb, if you actually look at the timer here, you can see that my time for the Morph Bomb split is gold, which means it's the fastest that I've ever done, that particular split, so I guess taking the slow climb was worthwhile. So here we just not damage boost, but we get hit by the space pirates. You can get through there with 3 shots, which is a total of 60 damage. And it's not really damage that you have to worry too much about taking. We've got plenty of health for Kraid. And coming up is the second reason why getting 5 extra missiles at the start is very handy for me. So, we're coming down here. I usually like to try and farm these slug things, but I didn't manage it this time. So we have our mock ball to the super missiles here. I get this pretty much consistently. Now this is where the route diverges again. I come in here to grab this reserve tank, and that is why 5 extra missiles is handy, because if I didn't have those 5 extra missiles, I would need to farm or backtrack a little bit or something to grab that. So probably I'm going to continue to get the extra missiles at the start until I can get through the run without that reserve tank. For some reason, I always manage to mess up this jump up here to the super missiles pretty badly. It's kind of embarrassing, actually. But I ended up saving about 2 seconds on the super missile split there, so I guess it's not completely terrible. Now we are headed to the charge beam. I usually like to kill this slug guy on the way down, but my movement through this room is pretty bad in general. The ideal way to get through this room is you ideally fall between those 2 bug things and do a mock ball, which is obviously a lot faster than what I do. And it's also especially important because those bugs actually do a lot of damage, and I'm usually kind of worried about my health at this point. So taking that extra damage means that to take care of my own fears, I usually need to do a little bit of extra farming. I always like to kill this bug thing just to get an extra drop. Unfortunately, he hit me the one time, so that kind of backfired a little bit. So we grab those missiles, and it's down to the charge beam. I'm a little surprised that Morph Bomb actually hit the block, but it is what it is. And Zos is already out of the room. So we'll jump up and equip the super missiles. It's actually interesting how much time you can save just by knowing what items to equip where. And that's one of the things that I'm kind of gradually working on. Because you can actually lose a lot of time just by standing around trying to equip the right item when you need it. So there's all these side jumpers here. I like to farm the guys on the ceiling if I'm under a full E-tank worth of health. Sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. In truth, I could probably make do with less energy than I'm usually very paranoid about my energy at this point, but I probably don't need to worry about it quite as much as I do. So anyways, here we have the red tower. And I get down here kind of slowly compared to Zost, mostly because I don't know how to do a down back. Ideally, you jump through that door so that you don't have to take a second to build up speed to jump across the water there, but I failed at that. Wow, I even fell on the spikes. That's pretty awful. And making mistakes like that is why I feel the need to farm energy. Another divergence in the route here. I come over here to grab the Spazer. I feel like I'm kind of getting close to the point where I might be able to skip the Spazer, but at the same time, my boss fights are pretty bad at this point, and the Spazer helps a lot with killing the bosses with bad strategies. So realistically, I'm probably going to continue to skip the Spazer until I'm better at Dragon and Phantoon. And it's handy in a bunch of other places too, so whatever. The neat little trick here where if you charge up your beam on this screen and then let go of the shoot button on the transition, you automatically shoot that door open and you're able to keep your momentum up. I think I mess up this jump over here a couple times, which is kind of annoying because I actually almost never mess up this jump into Kraid's lair anymore, but sometimes I do. I like to farm these slug things for drops, but I maybe don't have to do that. I think I'll probably kill the key hunters in this next room too, just because my energy's kind of low. But really, 90 energy is plenty to take on Kraid with. I guess I get kind of caught up on the fact that Kraid's the boss, so I feel like I need a bunch of health for him, but realistically, like, even if you do very poorly against him, chances are you're not going to take much damage. I go really slow to pick up the drops from the space pirates in this room too, which messes up the spike pattern for mini Kraid there a little bit. See, I don't need to go back for that health. Bop into the spikes. That's all really cool. So anyways, here we have Kraid. I talked a little bit during my Let's Play about the Kraid Quick Kill, which is a pretty impressive trick, and it's actually really hard. It's a very precise trick. I've practiced it a bunch, and I've gotten a lot better at it, but it's really hard to pull off. But I'm pretty happy because I got it here in this run. I would have preferred to get it in a run where I got the climb and Alcatraz escape as well. You'll also notice that the camera is locked when you get the Kraid Quick Kill, so you have to find your way to the door to this room blindly, which is kind of funny, just because they really didn't intend you to get to kill Kraid that way. But anyways, we got the various suits, so now we are headed back to the elevator down to Norfair. And this is another reason why I really shouldn't be worrying about my health on Kraid at all. There's an energy tank that I get up here, and when you get an energy tank, you automatically refill your health to full anyways, so it's like, it doesn't really do you any good to worry about your health. I don't really get through this room super optimally, but it's fast enough, I guess. Another gold split on Kraid, by the way, so fast as I've ever done it, at least at the time that I ran this run. So the optimal route doesn't actually get this E-Tank after Kraid, but it's pretty close to on the way, and it helps me out quite a bit to have a little bit of extra energy, so I grab it. The intended, the optimal route gets an E-Tank by Batuun instead, just because it's a little bit faster, ever so slightly, than the one by Kraid, but I get them both. That little shot across the gap with the super missile is actually really tricky, because to switch to the super missiles, like, you have to do it while you're running, or else before you transition into the room. And the button that you use to run left and the button that you use to switch what item you're selected is actually the same, uses the same finger, so that makes that kind of complicated. So here we have another energy tank, which is literally right on the way, so it doesn't make any sense to skip it at all, unless you're going for some kind of weird low percent run. And even then you would probably get this one. So you kill that gamer and open the door so that you don't have to worry about killing the gamer again on the other way through. Because you need to kill him in order to open the door, but if you kill him and then open the door on your way back through the room, you don't have to do that again. We'll see how I get up there. Meh, is okay. Usually my movement, sometimes my movement up there is actually really smooth and nice looking, but that wasn't the greatest. Not a big deal though. So we got the high jump boots. Next we are headed to the speed booster. So we just go up a little bit. I like to farm a little bit because I'm always a little obsessive about my energy and missile counts. I'm not so good at the next couple rooms. One of those side hoppers usually ends up hitting me, which is unfortunate because they do a lot of damage. And this room is just really, really ugly. I should be charging there so I can do a pseudo screw attack on that guy. He actually came very close to hitting me. He followed me through like the entire room. Ideally this would be a mock ball, but just doing a normal morph ball is not that big a difference. I actually got through this room pretty okay, well maybe it wasn't so smooth. It was smooth except for the part where I walked off the ledge. And here we have Bubble Mountain. See how well do I get up here? Is it first try? Yeah, first try. That's pretty good. So, super missile the door on the right there. Looks like I got a pretty good speed booster split here too. Jumping up that little hole is always proven to be surprisingly hard for me, and I'm not really sure why. So I switched to missiles in preparation, because I know that I'm going to need missiles to open up the door here. So I start shooting now. Wait. Huh. There's actually a pack of missiles right above the door for the speed booster that I normally grab, but I didn't realize that I skipped those in this run. That's interesting. Because those missiles are very on the way, so like you don't save much time skipping those. Wonder if there's some route optimization to be had there. But yeah, ultimately, a good speed booster split, another gold one. Really, I think most of my splits for this run were gold just because I haven't run this game that many times, so that's just the way it is. Farming those guys for drops. I usually farm those guys a little bit. I try to go one round longer than I think I need, just because I want to make sure. I've got a reserve tank earlier, and up until this point, there isn't really an opportunity for me to fill it up because I'm constantly, like, I'm not taking the time to farm, and I'm pretty much constantly below full health. So when I'm farming those guys, I try to make sure that I farm to fill up my reserve tank as well. Well, I get across that gap well enough. Pretty commonly I fall there, so I was always glad to not do that. I fail at that jump, but I get up pretty easily nonetheless. But even still, it's time lost. And wave beam. We get that, and now where are we going now? We're on our way to power bombs, aren't we? They'll fall through the floor. And we gotta get up. Aw, almost. Really? Do I really have problems getting up here? This getting up here is kind of weird because to me it seems like it's always either you get up the first time and it looks awesome, or you get up like the 17th time and it looks like ass. That's what's supposed to look like. You're supposed to wall jump off that ledge. I should probably practice that at some point. It's kind of hard. It's kind of just interesting looking back on this run because, like, it's not a completely terrible time, but there's obviously so many mistakes in here that on one hand it's like, oh my god, I'm awful, but on the other it's like, wow, I can save so much time on this run still. It's ridiculous. So anyways, we fall through that floor. There's I really like the series of movements falling through the floor in that room. Just it's very efficient with the way the pattern where you jump, where you shoot, how you kill the gamers, where you lay the morph bombs. It's pretty cool. Coming back up through this room. I really could probably do without doing a whole bunch of farming on those gamers. Oh right, I get the ice beam here. Did I actually do this Shine Spark? No, I tried to do a Shine Spark, but I failed. I assume Shine Spark is faster. But yeah, so anyways, I'm getting the Ice Beam early here. It's not really the optimal way. It's actually a little bit faster to wait and get the Ice Beam later. But it requires that you're able to get up the red tower, which is the big red room with the floaty dudes that you're supposed to freeze. You have to be able to get up there without the Ice Beam, which I can't quite do yet. And really, getting the Ice Beam later it's faster, but not much faster. Also, if I do continue to get the Ice Beam early, I should probably practice my escape from here because I come up here and go the long way around, which is kind of slow. But it is what it is. Wow, this room is pretty bad too. Well, it can't be helped. So there's two main reasons why getting the ice beam later is faster. The first is because if you come back here later to get it, you can just move through the rooms a little bit faster because you have space jump. I should probably not bother shooting that guy because it's probably faster to just go through him instead of freezing him and then having to kill him. But the other reason getting space beam or ice beam later is faster is because if I get ice beam now, I actually have to unequip it and then re-equip it later. So that means going into the pause menu twice, which in total probably wastes somewhere between like 12 and 15 seconds, I want to say. Which isn't a big deal. But it's, yeah. So heading back to the red tower here. Of course we got the Yabby Maws and the one room with the... I don't even know what the ceiling bats are called. They look like waivers, but they fall from the ceiling, so they're not waivers. But anyways, here we are back in Red Tower. So like I said, you can get up here without using the ice beam. I tend to freeze that guy just because it tends to get in my way if I don't freeze him. I can actually get up this part of it without the ice beam, like you can see there. So that's pretty cool. I always really like doing that because it looks impressive, and it's actually not that hard. But the problematic bit is the second half of the Red Tower. I've never successfully gotten up here without the ice beam. It's actually quite hard. So I just freeze those guys, and it makes it pretty easy. Wow, this room is terrible. I fell on the spikes twice. Although I'm pretty sure I do a decent damage boost here. Yeah. It's pretty much the only damage boost that I do on the run. Damage boosting is pretty hard usually, because to do it properly, you have to hold jump as well as the direction that you're boosting in. So, but if you're taking a damage boost, it knocks you backwards. So for a lot of times, like the damage boosts that Zost and good players in general do in this room, you have to like turn around right before you get hit, and then hold in the other direction again to actually do the damage boost properly. So that's pretty hard, and it's not something I've really practiced at all yet, so... Oh, and I really got grabbed by whatever these things are called. That's unfortunate. Not a very good powerbomb split. I lost 16 seconds here, so... That's not so great, but... Did I waste a powerbomb? I guess I did. I guess the first one wasn't laid high enough up. So anyways, we are making our way back to Criteria here. Opening up some powerbomb rooms, or powerbomb doors rather, along the way, because we are going to have to come back this way later. So it's just faster to open them up now while we're kind of on our way through the rooms anyways. Also, killing the caterpillars and these crabs, they usually drop power bombs as well, so it's convenient to reduce your power bomb count here because it makes it easier for you to refill them. So it used to be that at this point I would go to back to the area by Samus's ship and get the E-tank to the kind of top left area in that room. That ends up being really slow, so... Wow, really? I screwed up that Shine Spark? That's depressing. I usually get that one pretty consistently now, but... At least I didn't run into the next room. Wait, do I? No, okay. Of course, I'm still not able to do a proper ocean fly, but I don't really care. As long as I can get from Criteria to the wrecked ship, that's good enough for me at this point. Here I just open up that door and try and do a one-tap short charge here, which is pretty simple. But apparently I screwed up. The thing that makes it kind of complicated is it's kind of hard to time the first tap if you are turning around before you start running, so that's something I gotta keep in mind. Oh, Shine Spark across here. I'm thinking about trying to start my Shine Spark on the first platform in the future just to save my energy a little bit, because the thing about those Shine Sparks is right now I've got 178 energy and a full reserve tank, which is probably just barely enough for Fantoon, so what I always end up having to do here is there's a couple of atoms down here that I always end up farming for a bit. And I usually probably waste somewhere in the vicinity of 1 to 2 minutes just farming these guys just for energy so I can survive Fantoon. So if I can reduce the amount of health that I need to do those shine sparks a little bit, that's probably very much to my favor. Ideally, I think I would probably stop farming there. I think I probably have enough energy at this point to take on Fantoon, but my kind of philosophy for these runs in general is just focus on making sure that I can complete the runs safely, more so than going super fast at this point, just because I'm still learning, so I'm not especially good yet. Please go to Fantoon now. I think I probably do one more round. So obviously this takes a while. And of course, you know, if I was a little bit better at Fantoon, I wouldn't need to do so much farming. Okay. Well, at least I don't make sure that I go for full here. There's a really cool speed ball you can do there where you don't have to actually use the morph ball to get under that little ledge, but... So I take a second to unequip Ice Beam here because Fantoon doesn't really appreciate ice. Fantoon is actually a really interesting boss because what he does is actually very dynamic. He has a whole bunch of random patterns that he can do, so it's very rarely the same thing. It's actually a very fast pattern there. Fast right. But also, depending on what you do, Fantoon actually changes his pattern a little bit on the fly as well. So he'll try and like follow you around sometimes, and if you get hit by his fire, sometimes that changes what he does. But most notably is you don't want to hit him with Ice Beam, and you don't want to hit him with Super Missiles. If you hit him with Ice Beam, he actually immediately disappears, which is why I take it off here, so that ideally you can hit him with 3 charged phasers at a time. Well, ideally you would fight him using X Factors, and you can kill him in 2 shots, but I don't know nearly enough about Fantoon yet to be able to do that. So 3 charged phasers is about the best that I can work with at the moment. Another fast pattern here. You can also hit him right when he opens up his eye rather than waiting for him to disappear and reappear. So that would be ideal. So yeah, I end up losing a lot of time on my Fantoon fight here, and it's just really sloppy in general. Like, I take a lot of damage that I really don't have to. He gets given me a pretty fast pattern though. 3 times now he's opened up his eye almost immediately, which probably saves upwards of like 15 seconds. And he's dead. Wow. I actually saved 35 seconds on that split, so not a gold split, but definitely a really good one. It always feels really good being a minute up over your previous run. Now, for me, this next section of the game comes down to sort of just doing the movements, but trying to do it by while farming a little bit for health, and basically just not taking any damage if I can help it. I also don't re-equip the Ice Beam quite yet because I think it's probably optimal not to. Ice Beam does increase the damage that your beam does, but it also means that when you kill a guy, it just freezes them and you have to hit them again anyways. So I think it probably evens out that you do less damage, but you don't have to hit them that extra time. So it probably evens out to about the same number of shots to kill an enemy. So there we get some super missiles. I get an extra pack of super missiles to the right here. And this is ultimately down to... I'm not particularly good at the boss strategies yet, so for me it's very helpful to have extra super missiles just because it tends to be the fastest way to kill them. Not the greatest room ever. I got hit by ceiling sparks twice and such, but it is what it is. At least I don't think those sparks do especially high amounts of damage, so that's something anyways. Not my waste serve bot. Okay. And now we're headed to the top of the ship, to the attic, so that we can... I should probably use a power bomb so I can get there, so I can kill both those blocks at once. But yeah, so we're headed to the ceiling. We're going to do the attic and then head towards the gravity suit. Taking my time a little bit here, just to kill these atoms, get my health up a little bit. I'm up to 30 or 35 missiles at this point. Because I probably don't need more than about 30 missiles total, so... Man, I lose so much time here compared to Zost. And then we have the attic, which... Doing this place optimally looks really impressive, but I'm nowhere near able to do that yet. So I've kind of focused on just kind of taking my time, trying not to get hit, make sure I'm health positive. Nice little missile, super missile combo on that key hunter, because that's exactly how much damage it takes to kill him. And those things hurt a lot if they hit you. But I'm at pretty much full health now, so I guess it was worth it. I overshoot the little block thing that I've got to kill. Man, that was some pretty sloppy movement. Not only did I overshoot it, but then I tried to morph bomb it and missed. That was pretty bad. So I guess ideally you'd probably do some kind of damage boost through this room, but... I just kind of shoot and kill everything. I don't even have to, I'm at full everything at this point, so... Ideally, I would be able to charge up a short charge Shine Spark here, but I'm not quite able to. I think you need to do a full, like, of hardcore, like, stuttered 3-tap to be able to charge it up in that distance. I'm nowhere near able to do that yet. And now we wait. So let's see, my timer's up to about 35 minutes. I want to say that a fairly optimal run is probably somewhere around 10 minutes faster at this point. Maybe not quite that much. Well, this is another place where my route diverges a little bit. I come over here to the right. There is... I should not have used equipped power bombs yet. But yeah, so there's another reserve tank over here, so I come over this way to grab it. I'm very much looking forward to the point where I can skip this reserve tank, because obviously I'm wasting a lot of time to come get this one. I want to say it's somewhere between like 45 seconds and a minute just to get this reserve tank. Plus there's a missile tank here, which I don't really feel that I need. So that's just another item fanfare that I have to sit through that just adds to how long it takes to get through this area. I want to say the item fanfare is probably something like 5 seconds. I really did not need to use a power bomb there. What a waste. But still saved 10 seconds on the gravity suit split there, so another gold. And now we are headed back into Norfair so that we can make our way to Meridia. Leave the fish alone. You don't need to kill him. Meridia is pretty easy and not somewhere where you take a lot of damage, so after making sure I have enough health for that spike room, I should probably just not ignore my health, but not go out of my way to farm, because, like, really, I should be taking almost no damage in Meridia, so... I like to try and kill these crab things because they often drop power bombs, and usually at this point I'm fairly low on power bombs. I think I've wasted 1 or 2 of them in the wrecked ship, so that puts me a little bit lower, but ultimately power bomb count doesn't matter too much. Usually in Meridia there's a lot of crabs and stuff in there who have a high drop rate on power bombs, so it's usually not an issue. Yeah, just ignore that health. Good job. Now, I don't think I go for the reverse damage boost through here. Yeah, I just go for the little slow hops. Pretty smooth room either way. The optimal way to get through that room actually uses 2 damage boosts, but like I said, I'm not really good at damage boosts yet. So, that was meant to be a power bomb, not open that door. That was so silly. I open the door, I lay a power bomb, and then I just fall down anyways. Did they really backtrack up there just to kill that guy? That was really unnecessary. Again, I should have jumped through that door. And really I should be damage boosting off those guys instead of killing them, but whatever. There's something else I was gonna say, but I've forgotten now. Oh well. So, we got the tunnel to Meridia right here. Meridia is one place where you can really show off kind of optimal movement that I don't quite have down yet, but I guess really in a lot of ways, even if you don't have the best movement, it can look pretty impressive just because there's some impressive looking tricks that aren't really that hard. And just decide to take... Wow. The screen is actually kind of embarrassing. That could have been so much faster. And here, I take another little divergence from the path. There's another E-Tank over here, and I get this E-Tank in place of the one by Samus's ship. So I don't need both of them, but I need one of them. And this one's just a lot faster to get than that one. Plus doing the Shine Spark up there looks pretty cool, so I enjoy doing that. And getting that E-Tank here also means that I basically don't have to worry about my health at all in Meridia, because, like I said, this place isn't very hard, so the chances that I'm going to take enough damage to... Like, considering that I get a full health refill here, it's basically impossible for me to die in Meridia. Man, I screw up this transition pretty royally too. I lose a lot of time here, man. Jeez. I really need to start focusing a little bit more on smooth room transitions and stuff. Room strategies. Like, I don't need to take the time to kill these crabs at all. I screw up my Shine Spark charge here. This is probably a good, like, 8 seconds or so that could be saved just in that room alone. Don't need to Morph Ball Bomb that. You can just shoot it. Okay, well, I put the Ice Beam back on here because I need it for Botwoon. Waste a bit of time opening that door because I try and shoot it. And then I try and missile it, but in fact I need to super missile it. Could be a little bit faster equipping the power bombs there, but whatever. Oh my god, it's Metroids! I think I waste some time here too, yeah. Yeah, like I'm not gonna be able to make that short charge. So I gotta kill the block and then take another run at it. This Botwoon fight is actually kind of interesting. Not really interesting, but like... See, the thing is, you face Botwoon and then you face Dragon in very quick succession, and oh man, look how quickly Zeus kills this guy. It's absurd. So basically what it comes down to is I'm not very good at Dragon yet. I can't do the fast kill strategy on him at all. So that's definitely something I should probably work on, come to think of it, because it means two things. For one, it means that I have to kill him with missiles and super missiles, basically. And so that means that I need to have as many super missiles as I can. Needing as many super missiles as I can means that I can't spam them on Botwoon like I would like to. Which means that Botwoon takes a lot longer, and I have to do this stupid strategy where I just kind of sit on the side of the room and shoot charge shots and hope that they connect, and it's really kind of gross and slow and all that. And yet, I still save, what is that, 17 seconds? On that Botwoon split? No, it's... Wow, I'm mathing bad here. 18... 20... 23 seconds is what I saved. Yeah, okay. I'm math good. So here there's a trick called the halfie or the full halfie, where you can, in that previous room with you can charge up your Shine Spark, and if you can get up that previous room with the wall jumps fast enough, you can do a Shine Spark across half or all of this room. I feel like I could probably go for the halfie, which gets you halfway across the room, but I've never actually gone for it yet, so I should probably do that. All told, though, this room is called the Coliseum. This is probably one of my better times getting through this room so far. I do some decent wall jumping that saves a lot of time, and I think I do a couple jumps off of Frozen Metroid, which is cool too. In general, though, the more time you spend in the air in the Coliseum, the better. So here we have Dragon, which... it's kind of an odd fight. I talked a bit about it already, of course, but... it's kind of weird, because I feel like I've gotten pretty good at the slow strategy, but in the end of the day, it's still the slow strategy, so... ideally, you would be charging up short charges here with 2 or 3 taps, and hitting Dragon with Shine Sparks. But I'm not really good at that yet. I can do it, but not consistently enough to kill him. Yeah, I'm so good at the Dragon slow kill. Look at me get hit by that goo. I've hit him with 2 super missiles, whereas Zeus has killed him already. Okay, and spam supers. At least I'm at the point now where I'm not too worried about dying here, because when I first started trying to learn this fight the slow way, dying was a really real concern, and I was like, how can I kill this guy at all without the grapple beam? Not how do I kill this guy quickly? It's so annoying when he starts doing these fast swoops. Kill him. Yeah, okay, that wasn't too bad. I think oh wow. I gained a lot of time on that split. Like, 50 seconds? How was that so fast? My Dragon fight in my previous best must have been really bad. Okay. So anyways, we killed Dragon, and we get Space Jump. You'll notice that killing Dragon with Shine Sparks has left Zost's suit blue. That's called the blue suit, and it means that you can charge up... it's kind of a bug that lets you charge up the Shine Spark instantly. And it's kind of embarrassing, actually. Zeus gets through this room faster than I do, despite the fact that he is incapable of pressing run right now, or he'll drop the blue suit effect. So, like, he can't use run at all, and yet he still goes faster than me. Just shows you how much room for improvement I still have. So he gets the reverse full halfie, so he just Shine Sparks through this room both ways, which is pretty fast. But at least it's still a pretty fast room if once you get the space jump. So as the splits indicate... well, actually no, we're not headed to Lower Norfair quite yet. We're actually headed to Plasma Beam right now. And at this point, my biggest concern is... I guess it's mostly just smooth movement. I want to fill up my super missiles, but in reality, I probably don't have to worry about that quite so much. Like, I should probably just skip past these cack attacks, if truth is be told. The thing about the super missiles is, historically I've needed them against Ridley, because my Ridley fight used to be really bad. So I felt like I needed super missiles to kill him. So I kind of obsessed over making sure to fill up my super missiles here, but I don't really use super missiles against him anymore, so going forward I should probably not worry about that and just focus on getting to Plasma and then Lower Norfair as quickly as I can. Wow, that was sloppy. I'm pretty bad at space jump, honestly. And ironically, you don't even need space jump to get up there. You can do it with normal wall jumps, so I should just focus on doing that, really. I really don't need to worry about filling up my health quite as much as I do here, because I basically have all the way between Dragon and Lower Norfair to fill up health, and even then, actually, I don't need to worry about it too much. I just find that I, in general, worry too much about my resources. Now, we got the plasma beam. We have to kill all of the pirates in this room in order to get out. Oh man, that guy. Oh, cool. I froze him before he managed to get all the way to the right. That actually is pretty awesome. Because if he gets all the way to the right, that's a non-insignificant time loss. A nice quick farm off of those 6 little blob things, whatever they are. And now that we have plasma, we are in fact on our way to Lower Norfair. And I'm up to 5 E-tanks, and the optimal route only gets 3. I can't imagine doing Ridley and Lower Norfair with only 3 E-tanks. It's kind of crazy to me. Oh my god, look at that! We take the pipe at the exact same speed. It's amazing. I'm amazed at how much time Zost is able to gain on me in that particular room, because it's like, all you do is fall down, lay a morph ball, and go to the left. And yet he's probably a good, like, half a second or more faster than me through that particular room. Kind of crazy. I really need to get better in that previous room with the little mini dragons, with charging up the speed of my base jump. Get a running start. There's just so much little movement that I'm not good at yet, that you gain so much time throughout the run once you get good at it. It's like multiple seconds in every single room in the game that I'm losing. Okay, maybe not that room. So yeah, back into Norfair. Just taking that elevator. Want to go to the bottom. At least I'm not taking the time to farm these gamers. Oh, no, apparently I am. And okay, yeah. So here, I didn't get Ice Beam earlier, but this is where you optimally would get Ice Beam. So I guess we'll just take a second to look at Zost's screen to see him get Ice Beam. So I don't know if you noticed, but he used the space jump to get through the one room with the little floaty platforms in the lava a little bit faster. So that's one very small reason why getting Ice Beam later is faster. He does it again in reverse. Wow, that's actually a really cool mock ball. So mockballing through that particular room is something that I have to get good at, because it's so much faster than going the slow way around. But anyways, we are back to being synced up. I think that's one of like 4 rooms in the game that I actually got through faster than the world record. World record for one room! Except probably not. Because I'm sure there's people that still did it faster than me. Headed down. This room is called the Purple Spire. I really need to get better at weaving through those platforms. Oh man, before I do that though, I gotta get better at this room. I go through this room so slowly, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just kind of like, shoot all the things and kind of fall in all the lava, and it's terrible and awful. One thing I do want to learn though is this damage boost. You can damage boost off the bottom blue guy there, and it's pretty cool. Really neat little damage boost. I get hit by that projectile. That's pretty bad because they do like 50 damage or something ridiculous. And I'm pretty concerned about my health in Lower Norfair, because you can take a lot of damage here. In general, my Lower Norfair is just terrible. Oh wow, I saved 18 seconds getting to Lower Norfair. Another gold split. It's kind of hard to tell if this run is really good. Well, no, it's obviously not really good, but... Or if the run I did before it was just really, really bad. I should have power bombs equipped here already. Partly just because if you lay them soon enough, you can avoid taking any damage from that guy at all. There's a shine spark you can do here through this room that I really want to get better at doing, but it's really hard if you don't know how to do a 3-tap short charge, which I cannot do yet. But I've at least gotten decently well at getting through here with just power bombs, so that I take minimal damage. So that's something. Oh man, this room. This room is called the worst room in the game, and it's called that for a reason. It doesn't help that I'm terrible at it. Okay, up to the second tier. Fail space jump. Just look how much time I'm wasting here, like, this is so slow. I don't even have to kill these guys, I don't know why I'm bothering, because, like, honestly, my health doesn't even matter that much. Like, obviously I've taken a fair amount of damage so far, but I could take so much more. I need to get better at space jumping at the beginning of this room here instead of falling all the way to the bottom. But I think I get up here decently fast enough. I don't... Oh, okay, no. I do screw up pretty majorly in this run, don't I? Really? Fail the wall jump? Just jump on the platform. Screw the wall jumps. The lava's catching up. Jeez. Stop being bad. That was disgraceful. And I think this is the last place where my route diverges from the optimal. I come over here to get another E-tank here. And this one is twofold. The first reason is obviously... like, it's on the way, so... I feel like I need a little bit more health to be able to kill Ridley safely. I probably don't strictly need it, considering I've got 2 reserve tanks, but wow, all that spike damage. Disgraceful. So, it's a little bit of extra health for Ridley, and it's also an easy heal after the worst room in the game, in the lava room. So it serves kind of dual purposes. It means that I don't have to do quite as much farming before Ridley to make sure I've got full health. I could probably... That's an E-tank that I'm probably going to continue to get for quite a while, because once I get to the point where I'm a little bit more comfortable with my health against Ridley, I'm probably going to start cutting out reserve tanks before I cut out E-tanks, because really all the E-tanks that I get on this route are pretty much on the way, so they're fairly convenient. I should probably not kill these guys, but they do a lot of health, so I don't even need to bother with that guy because I just powerbomb through this statue, so I can avoid him altogether. Super missiles because I need them to open up this door. And Kung Fu Pirates. I need to figure out a way to kill these guys faster because as it stands currently, I basically like wait for them to jump at me twice, and that's just really slow. I think it's probably faster to shoot them while they are kicking at you, but obviously that's a little bit more precise timing and stuff, and yeah. Because, I mean, look at this. This is probably a good, like, 20-25 seconds that I'm wasting there that I really don't need to be. I don't think I really need to do... This is generally where you're going to do farming to heal up for Ridley, but aside from... I don't think I really need to do anything aside from filling up my current energy. I'm full on missile on everything but power bombs, and, like, none of that really even matters. My reserve tanks are full, so it's kind of like, okay, just go kill them now, I guess. Except then I fall in the lava. We fight Ridley now. So, decently fast enough getting to Ridley. I guess in my previous run of this run, it must have been over the hour mark before I even got here, so... So I don't think my Ridley fight was too bad. I'm pretty good at this point of at least surviving the fight and killing him, which is honestly the hard part when you're starting out. I can do it without using missiles at all, so... I'm pretty sure it's using your charge beam is faster than using super missiles if you're good at it. Super missiles are probably still ultimately faster for me, but it's good to practice the charge beam method anyways. Ultimately, all the Ridley fight comes down to is learning how to manipulate his AI and kind of figure out what he's doing at any given moment. I'm actually taking a lot of damage here. This is why I need so many E-tanks. But I think I probably finished this fight with maybe 2? No, one E-tank. Yeah, okay, this fight's done. So yeah, so I've got 129 energy left and 2 full reserve tanks, so I think I probably have plenty of health. So I try and open up the door up there before I collect Ridley's drops. That way I can just space jump up there and the door's already open. It's just kind of convenient. Okay, so I saved another 19 seconds on that Ridley split, so that was pretty cool. Sub-hour Ridley. Oh, it's an achievement, but it's honestly just sounds kind of pathetic. So at this point, I honestly, this is probably another situation where I worry a little bit too much about filling up my energy and just farming. All I gotta do at this point is head back to Criteria so that I can make my way to Turian. I guess it's kind of natural to worry about filling up your health and such, but after fighting Ridley, especially considering I had so little left. But the fact of the matter is, like, as long as I can get out of Lower Norfair, like, there's nothing in Norfair or Meridia or Praeteria that's gonna kill me, and like, Turian's not gonna kill me, so I really don't need to even worry about my health, but that's just one of those little things that you can optimize more. Yeah, at this point it's just, I kill these guys really slowly too. I don't even know what it is that I could do to improve all that well on these guys, but I guess these particular ones I don't know that I even have to kill them. There's a little trick you can do where you hitbox. It's called hitboxing through them. You just shoot them with plasma at the same frame that they hit you, and or not the same frame, but kind of. You basically run through them at the same time that your plasma shot goes through them and you don't take damage. I should probably start trying to do that instead. And this is basically the last room that's gonna kill me, so... It's always really fun getting to this point in the run, because for me at least, the only thing left in the game that's really likely to kill me is Ridley. Maybe Mother Brain, but I collect enough E-tanks that Mother Brain's not really an issue. So like, once I get past Ridley, it's kind of smooth sailing, and being 3 minutes up on the Ridley split is pretty gratifying, because everything else is just kind of, okay, gotta go do it now. This escape from Lower Norfair takes a lot longer than I thought. Jeez. That was a good, like, 3 seconds that I wasted just kind of standing around trying to equip the power bombs. Stuff like that, man. I gotta stop doing that. We are back in Norfair. Just gotta power bomb through the floor here. speed booster back over to the elevator shaft. Be cool if I got better at opening that door with the speed booster engaged. That save room always kind of annoys me, because you always end up bonking on the floor, and it just feels really gross. Making our way up here, back into Brinstar. Those long vertical shaft rooms are always kind of problematic too, just because there's so many platforms to get caught on. Now we're actually making our way back to Meridia. Because apparently taking a shortcut through Meridia is actually faster than just heading straight back up through Brinstar. So that's what we do. Luckily, it's a little bit easier to not look absolutely terrible through this section now that we've got space jump. I went for the badass hero shot and I failed. Well, I kind of got it there, except I used space jump instead of wall jumping. Now this time we go through the top of this room. I always overshoot the door a little bit, so it doesn't waste much time, but it's a little bit. I never get that morph ball jump up into that slot. You don't need to farm those guys, jeez. 4 E-tanks is plenty for Turian. Here we are, this is the elevator back up into Brinstar. Wait, no it's not. This is the elevator up into Criteria. This leads us back up to around where the wrecked ship is. We just climb back up this ship. This shaft is what I meant to say. Head left. I completely missed that door entirely. Oh well. Holy jeez. Do you see how fast Zos got through this room? That's badass. You can space jump properly enough to bust down that barrier? You gotta try that. But we're making pretty good time. Just kill these space pirates. Super missile, because why not? At this point, missile conservation is pretty much out the door. And the Golden 4. Now we wait. Wow. Save 46 seconds again on that split, so that's kind of why I guess I'm showing off this run, is just because it's kind of weird, because it's obviously there's so many places where I'm just really sloppy and I lose time for no reason and my movement's just bad, but at the same time, like, I gained time on almost every single split. I lost 1 second in Ceres Station, and I lost 16 seconds on super... Was it super missiles? No, it was power bombs. But other than that, every split is gaining pretty significant amounts of time, and most of them are gold splits too, so... Of course, this is comparing against my own time, previous time, which was also bad, but... whatever. Improvement is fun. Now we have Turian. This place is actually pretty difficult because it's... Well, no, it's not hard, but it's hard to do fast because it ultimately ends up coming down to how quickly you can switch between your beam and your super missiles. That and how many times you get grabbed by Metroids. So, really high-end play. It's actually, like, incredible how well they can go through this place at speed. But I go quickly enough, I guess. I don't know. I guess I also always make sure to get the drops off of these Metroids, and you can't. It's kind of hard to do that unless you slow down. So, come on, kill the Metroid. Jeez. Okay, so I believe that's all the Metroids. Coming up, we have this thing called the Metroid skip, which honestly is not something that I've even gone for that much. I've talked a lot about how my health through Turian doesn't even really matter. And part of that is because we have this section here with the baby Metroid coming up. The baby Metroid absorbs all of your health, and that's part of why I'm taking damage from the side hopper, because the lower health you have, the faster the baby Metroid absorbs all your health. So I'm like banking on me not getting the Metroid skip, because like it's pretty much guaranteed that it's not gonna happen. And that's why I don't really care about my energy, because I'm gonna go down to 1 no matter how much I have coming into this part in the game. So I'm gonna have to refill it at the upcoming energy station anyways, so doesn't matter if I have 100 energy at this point or 700 energy, it's all pretty much the same. I'm not sure why I chose to open that door now. I guess it just kind of makes sense to do it, because why not? Don't need to refill my missiles, because 30 is plenty. Coming up, the only thing really left to this game is the Zebetite skip and executing on Mother Brain and the escape. There's something about this room that I'm just really bad at. I don't know why. Those little dome things always catch me. I end up stealing all of my base jump momentum. Okay, so Zebetite glitch. What we do here is we freeze a Rinka, then we space jump onto it while we are invincible. It's a very finicky glitch. Well, finicky's not the right word. It's kind of hard to really do to kind of get a sense of it, because like it's kind of esoteric. It's like it's kind of hard to see how it works, or when it's not working, why it's not working and such, but once you kind of get a feel for it, it's actually really easy. And I just find it, if you screw up the Zebetite glitch, I just find it a lot easier to just reset the room entirely. So anyways, that is Mother Brain. Mother Brain 1 anyways. So I saved another 28 seconds on that split, so we're a full 4 minutes ahead at this point, so that's pretty awesome. Unfortunately, I think I make some pretty, not huge, but unfortunate mistakes on Mother Brain here. This fight's really kind of weird, because like, on one hand it's really not hard, but on the other hand, a big part of why it's not hard is just because I have so many E-tanks. Like, if I didn't have 6 E-tanks, I would be dead at this point. Definitely now. That red beam does like 200 damage. And you need at least 300 health in order to survive the rainbow beam that Mother Brain does, so I probably didn't have to take the time to manually refill those E-tanks. Probably would have worked just fine otherwise, but I kind of panicked. I spin jumped into Mother Brain there right before the rainbow beam, because ideally you want to be, I think it's under 50 health when the rainbow beam is done, because otherwise she has to do more attacks at you to lower your health a little bit further. So I guess ideally the closer to 300 health, or yeah, the closer to 300 health you have while still being over before the rainbow beam hits, the better. I guess that's not entirely true, because you also have to wait for the Metroid to heal you back up to full, so I think it's probably 50 health that you want to be under, though. So yeah, I'm not especially good at dodging all Mother Brain's attacks, so This fight is trivial with 6 E-tanks, but if I was doing a run with only 3, it would be a little bit of a different story. 6 E-tanks also means you have to wait longer for the Metroid to heal you up, so that's something else. No! Our friend the Metroid! Now it's time for Rainbow Beam powers! So the way I do this fight is a little bit different from the norm. The Rainbow Beam attacks actually cause a little bit of lag sometimes. So it's optimal to be as close as you can up in Mother Brain's face. And also, I waste a few seconds there doing shots that aren't actually hitting Mother Brain. They're like going through her neck or whatever. So that's unfortunate. I lose some time there. Yeah, I'm just sitting in the corner shooting as fast as I can, and you can see that sometimes it causes a little bit of lag, so... Ideally, you're much closer up to Mother Brain doing these shots so that the beam doesn't have a chance to cause lag, but that takes a little bit more precision because you have to do, like, a very specific pattern where you do, like, 2 angled shots, an even shot, and then 2 more angled shots on the way down or something like that, so... Yeah. For someone at my skill level, I feel like it's just not even worth doing. And now for the Zeb's escape. Zeb's escape. And I'm actually really bad at this. I think it goes decently well in this run, but... yeah. Speed booster along the bottom here. I hit that charge way too fast. Because, I mean, that stops your forward momentum, and then I gotta build it up again to get to the end of the room. This room is the one that I'm really bad at. I always end up falling down, and it's kind of like the climb 2.0. Which is actually kind of funny, because you actually do go through the climb again on your way back through the planet, but it's not quite so hard this time. So yeah, just weaving between these platforms and stuff is something I'm not really good at yet, but... No, go to the left. That platform doesn't matter. Space jump! Yeah, I didn't script the space jump. And build up a little speed before we get into this room, because you can do this little trick where... for some reason, you can just shine spark right through most of those platforms. I guess it's only one platform you're actually going through, but... it's cool, you can shine spark all the way to the top of the room. And as always, I somehow end up... Don't I screw up this room somehow? No, that was actually pretty smooth. I almost always end up falling down that room somewhere just because I'm bad, and that's what happens. So, my Mother Brain fight wasn't especially good, and my escape was a little messy too, so I end up losing another 16 seconds here, but I end a full 4 minutes before my previous best run. So, 1:15:42. Kind of terrible time in terms of speed running, but pretty fast run nonetheless. So, I'm pretty proud of it. Obviously, I'm going to continue to practice and just get better from here, so... I've only been playing the game 2 weeks or so, so there's a lot of room to improve, but that's pretty much what a speedrun looks like, and... I'm just really proud of the fact that I can actually complete runs, and I have kind of like a solid basis that I can continue to improve on now. The operation was completed. So the game gives you an in-game timer as well, 57 minutes, so I thought it was an hour for some reason, but sub 1 hour game time, so that's cool. The game timer is a little bit different in that it doesn't count everything. It doesn't count when the game is paused. It doesn't count when you're listening to the item fanfare. It doesn't count. I don't think it counts during room transitions. And that's pretty much it. So that's why in-game timer is so different from the normal timer. So if you're curious, the time that I'm comparing against in the top right here, Zost's world record run, was 44 minutes 29 seconds. So that's what? 31 minutes and 13 seconds faster than me. So, that's kind of disgusting how big a difference there is, but whatever. So we just watched the credits. It's just a thing that is done. It's not a Super Metroid speedrun if you don't pay tribute to Deer Force. There's a lot of places that I can improve on this run, and I intend to do so. Eventually, I hopefully want to be able to get to the point where I don't need, like, 7 million E-tanks to be able to beat the game, but ultimately, at the end of the day, my goal has only ever been to be good at this game, because this is a really good game, and the better you get at it, the more fun it is, I think. Because there's just so many little nuances that you can take advantage of when you really start to understand how the physics work and get all the room transitions and the route down and all that stuff. And of course, Super Metroid would not exist if not for all of the wonderful people in the credits here. Not least of all, Gunpei Yokoi, who was tragically lost in a car accident in, I want to say like 20 years ago. And Deer Force. We gotta pay tribute to Deer Force. I think, as far as completion rate, I believe that my run is 31%, whereas the optimal route is 21%. Indeed. So, that's my speedrun. Thanks for watching. Maybe there will be more in the future, maybe not. We'll see. Catch you later.